Have you ever wondered if there was more to the stories we know? The ones we learned as children. Stories about the beginning of everything. There is a book, a very special book called the Urantia Book. It offers a bigger picture of our universe, of God, and of our own human story. It doesn't ask you to replace your beliefs. Instead, it invites you to look at things from a new angle, to see a wider, more detailed map of our spiritual journey. It tells us that we are all part of a grand, loving plan, one that is far bigger and more wonderful than we can imagine. This book shares a different version of the story of Adam and Eve. It's not a story about a great sin that doomed humanity. It's a story of good intentions, immense pressure, and a mistake born from impatience and compassion. It's a human story. The Urantia Book paints Adam and Eve not as the first humans, but as divine messengers sent to help an already existing human race. They were heroes on a difficult mission, a mission that was meant to uplift all of humanity and bring us closer to our divine destiny. Their story is one of great hope, profound challenges, and ultimately, enduring love for their children. Let's travel back in time to a world that was young and full of potential. The Urantia Book tells us that humanity was already living on Earth for thousands of years before Adam and Eve arrived. These early people were slowly developing, building societies and learning about the world, but they needed help. They needed a guiding hand to speed up their biological and spiritual growth. This is where Adam and Eve come in. They were sent from a more advanced world as teachers and leaders, bringing with them a superior genetic heritage and a deep understanding of divine truth. They were a gift to our world. Their purpose was clear and beautiful. They were to establish a garden, a center of culture and learning, and raise a new generation of leaders. Their children, blessed with their advanced genetics, would then go out and mix with the people of the world. This slow and steady process over many generations would physically and spiritually elevate the entire human race. It was a long-term plan, a patient plan designed to bring unity and progress to a struggling world. It was a plan that required great patience, steadfast faith, and unwavering obedience to the divine instructions they were given before they came to our world. Imagine a place of perfect beauty and harmony. This was the Garden of Eden. It was not just a home for Adam and Eve, it was a school for the world. The best and brightest minds from all the surrounding tribes were invited to come and learn. They learned about agriculture, art, governance, and the nature of God. The garden was a beacon of light, a shining example of what humanity could become. Adam and Eve worked tirelessly as its caretakers and teachers. Their days were filled with purpose, guiding their students and preparing for the grand mission that lay ahead of them. Their life in the garden was supposed to last for a very long time. The plan was for them to first build a strong family, a core group of 1 million of their own pure line descendants. This would be their foundation. These children would be the core of the new, uplifted civilization. Only after this foundation was firmly established were they supposed to begin the mission of sharing their life and blood with the wider world. This required immense patience. They had to watch the world struggle, knowing they had the solution, but having to wait for the perfect time to share it. It was a heavy burden to carry. Adam and Eve were not alone. They were supported by a host of celestial beings who helped them manage the garden and their mission. But they were also mortal, just like us in many ways. They felt love, they felt joy, and they felt the deep ache of compassion for the people outside their beautiful home. They could see the suffering, the confusion, and the slow pace of progress in the world. They heard the pleas of the tribal leaders who came to them, leaders who saw the greatness of Adam and Eve and wanted that gift for their people, not in some distant future. This created a powerful conflict within them. On one hand, they had their divine instructions, to be patient, to build their family first, to follow the long-term plan. On the other hand, their hearts were breaking for the people they were sent to serve. A well-meaning but impatient leader among their celestial staff, a being named Caligastia, urged them to take a shortcut. He argued that the plan was too slow. He told them that a quicker way, a more immediate act of giving, would be better. He planted a seed of doubt, suggesting that their compassion was more important than their instructions. The pressure on Adam and Eve was immense. Imagine seeing people you care about struggling day after day. Imagine having the power to help them, to ease their burdens, but being told you must wait. This was their reality. A kind and sincere leader of a nearby tribe came to Adam with a heartfelt plea. He asked Adam to give his people a leader, a child with the divine spark, to guide them out of darkness. This leader, named Sarapatatia, was one of the best students in the garden schools. His request was not selfish. It was for the good of his people. He saw the slow pace of the divine plan and feared his tribe would falter before help arrived. Eve, in particular, felt this pressure deeply. She was the mother of a future civilization, and her heart went out to the struggling tribes. She saw the logic in the plea. Why wait for generations when they could help someone? The impatient counsel she had been hearing seemed to make sense in that moment. She believed that deviating from the plan just a little for a good cause would surely be forgiven. It was a decision made not from malice or rebellion, but from a place of genuine compassion and a desire to do good. She decided to act. Convinced that this was the best path forward, Eve agreed to a plan. She would conceive a child with Kano, a specimen of the Nodite race. This child would be a gift to his people, a leader born of both divine heritage and the native soil. In her mind, this was a small compromise to achieve a great good. It was a shortcut. When Adam learned of her decision, his heart was broken. He knew they had broken their sacred vow. He knew the divine plan had been disrupted, but his love for Eve was absolute. He felt he could not abandon her, so he chose to stand by her side and share in her fate. He too partook in the altered plan. This act is what the Urantia Book calls the default. It was not a fall into sin, but a mistake in judgment. It was the choice to follow their own well-intentioned idea instead of the proven divine plan. They chose a shortcut based on human compassion and impatience over the long, patient path laid out for them by wiser, higher beings. Their mistake was not in the desire to help, but in the method they chose. They tried to accelerate a plan that was designed to unfold slowly and carefully, and in doing so, they brought their mission to a premature and difficult end. The immediate result of their choice was the loss of their connection to the divine circuit of life. The celestial energy that sustained their immortal forms was cut off. They became mortal, just like the people they came to help. The beautiful Garden of Eden could no longer be their home. With heavy hearts, Adam and Eve had to leave their paradise behind and face the challenges of the world as mortals. Their grand mission of uplifting the entire planet was cut short. Though they and their children did make a positive impact, it was a fraction of what could have been achieved had the original plan been followed. But this is not a story of failure. It is a story of resilience and enduring love. Adam and Eve went on to live long, productive lives. They raised a remarkable family and taught their children the truths they knew. They became powerful and respected leaders in the world's second garden, a new center of culture they established in Mesopotamia. They never lost their faith or their love for God. They worked tirelessly to salvage what they could of their mission, contributing greatly to the advancement of civilization. Their legacy is not one of sin, but of a noble effort that, despite a mistake, still brought much-needed light to the world. So what can we learn from this today, on August 4th, 2025? The story of Adam and Eve teaches us the importance of patience. Sometimes, the best plans take time. Rushing forward, even with the best intentions, can lead to unintended consequences. It also teaches us the power of faith and trust in a higher plan, even when we don't fully understand it. We are all part of a grand journey, and sometimes we just need to trust the process, do our part, and let the larger picture unfold in its own perfect time. It's a lesson in balancing our human compassion with divine wisdom. The most hopeful message is this: mistakes are not the end of the story. Adam and Eve defaulted, but they did not fail. They picked themselves up, they adapted, and they continued to serve. Our own lives are much the same. We will make mistakes. We will take wrong turns. But like them, we can always choose to get back up, to learn from our choices, and to continue moving forward in faith and love. Adam and Eve did fall from their high estate of material sonship down to the lowly status of mortal man. But that was not the fall of man. The human race has been uplifted despite the immediate consequences of the Adamic default. Although the divine plan of giving the violet race to the Urantia peoples miscarried, the mortal races have profited enormously from the limited contribution which Adam and his descendants made to the Urantia races. There has been no fall of man. The history of the human race is one of progressive evolution, and the Adamic bestowal left the world peoples greatly improved over their previous biologic condition. The more superior stocks of Urantia now contain inheritance factors derived from as many as 4 separate sources: Andinite, Sangic, Nodite, and Adamic. Adam should not be regarded as the cause of a curse on the human race. While he did fail in carrying forward the divine plan, while he did transgress his covenant with deity, while he and his mate were most certainly degraded in creature status, notwithstanding all this, their contribution to the human race did much to advance civilization on Urantia. The universe is not waiting to punish us for our errors. It is waiting to support us as we learn, grow, and continue our incredible journey back to our loving Creator.